Boy, you probably did not think I'd be back, huh? It's been a little while. The last video was about 6 months ago. So, doing really good on track. I have about 150,000 more games to go, I think. A couple reasons why I stopped doing this in the last 6 months. One, well, some personal stuff happened. Don't want to get into it. Two, also, I just didn't know what I wanted to keep doing with this. I don't know if I just wanted to play a game, talk about it for a few minutes, and then boom, that's it. I did try and get back into it with a couple of games within those 6 months, but I just took way too long in between the playing it and then the recording this part, so I just completely forgot about what I wanted to talk about. So I decided to try again, this time with a bit of a new method. Instead of picking a single game to play, I decided I might as well do a franchise. Because if somehow I'm doing this 5 years from now, I don't want to go back to Silent Hill 3 and forget what happened in Silent Hill 2. So I decided to start with a franchise I love, the Batman Arkham series. I played this franchise quite a lot growing up, specifically Arkham City. That was the first one I ever played. I think I played Arkham Asylum before Arkham Knight came out, but it was at least a couple years after Arkham City. And so yeah, we're going right back to Arkham Asylum. I tried booting it up on the PS5 with the PlayStation 4 Arkham Collection, and the first thing I noticed was it was in 30 FPS. Usually I don't care, but I've just come so accustomed to more than 30 FPS by playing on my PC for however long now. So I decided to boot it up on Steam since I had it on there too, and it's still logged at 30 FPS. I think it took me an hour to figure out how to crack into the code, which is just like a notepad, and then unlock the frame rate so I can get more than 30. And I do want to try and do something different. In the last videos I just skipped most of the story. I don't want to give my experience as I was playing the game. Talk about what happened, what I thought with certain scenes. Mostly give a synopsis of the whole story, if it's got one. And boy does Arkham Asylum have one. So I'm sure there's timelines out there of how far into Batman's story this is. It's deep into it. He's established. Most of his villains are established. So the game starts with Batman bringing Joker to Arkham Asylum. Kind of the usual shtick by now. We take a little walk through the prison, make sure Joker gets there okay, meet up with Commissioner Gordon, meet some other villains like Killer Croc, who I love is an actual monster in this game.
I've got your scent, Batman. I will hunt you down.
And already, I love the Joker in this. Mark Hamill does such a good job.
Need to take my temperature? I'd be happy to drop my pants. Ooh, would you sneak in with your bats? Come on, tell me. Batarangs, bat claws, ooh, bat smacks.
Tell me something. You've never let me catch you this easily. What are you really after?
Oh, nothing much. Hundreds dying in pain and fear. All their meaningless lives brought to a horrifying conclusion. All thanks to you and a book of matches.
And so Joker gets escorted to his cells, but somehow he breaks out. Very easily, I might add. But now Joker is loose in Arkham, and also all of his goons are here, because there was an accidental fire at Blackgate Prison, so all of Joker's squad got transferred to Arkham. What a coincidence. Only it's not really, and this was Joker's plan all along, having Batman trapped in a prison with his worst enemies. So Batman chases after Joker. He meets up with a couple more of his villains like Victor's Ass, Harley Quinn, and also this knockoff Bane looking guy. Joker sets this guy free on us. He has a heart attack.
That was unexpected, wasn't it?
His little experiment here failed, so he tries to retreat. And after Joker escapes, we found out some cop took Gordon, holding him hostage somewhere. So we track him down to find the cop dead immediately. So now we head off to...
I know you can. Yes, it is I, Edward Nigma, the Riddler. And more importantly, your intellectual superior.
Yeah, the Riddler's here. If you never played an Arkham game, the Riddler is notorious for making you want to smash your head against the wall for how much of his Riddler trophies he's hidden around the entire map. It is fun collecting collectibles, but sometimes it's just... you have to think about how did Joker get these things here. The whole thing with the Riddler, it's kind of like the one thing where it's okay, it's a video game, you want collectibles. But at the same time, they try and make everything semi-realistic in this world. So you have to imagine how long it took Riddler to plant all these trophies around. While all these villains were planning up their ways on how to take on the Bat, Was Riddler just sneaking around, putting a trophy in a vent, or putting it behind a wall? I like to imagine they were just looking at him like, what a weirdo over there. So we leave the building and see Arkham Island for the first time. Now we go search the island for Harley. We find Harley barricaded in a room with Gordon, just sitting bound up around the corner. So we find another entrance from the roof, and it brings us to a room with goons and guns. Though some stealth and broken ribs later, the doctors in the room are now safe. And now we go off to rescue Gordon and the other doctors in the building, including Dr. Young. He's one of the main doctors here, is working on something called Project Titan. Doesn't really go into depth on it in the beginning, just says it's going to make Arkham great again.
Project Titan's goal is to create a test to fully probe our special cases in a safe, risk-free manner. Our goal is to cure the more unfortunate specimens, the weak, those not physically up to the challenge that our medical practices present. Project Titan will make us a world-class facility, an award-winning facility.
And then one of my favorite Batman villains shows up, Scarecrow. Now, it might be a bit of a weird choice for Scarecrow to be my favorite villain, but they just do him so well in these games. For one, his design is awesome. His mask is super creepy, his whole Freddy Krueger needle hands, the perfect way to inject his fear toxin to anyone. And no, I actually got it wrong. We don't find Gordon here, we find him dead here. Yeah, Scarecrow plays a little game with us, makes us think we see Gordon dead, has another trip out, sees his parents dead. And with the introduction of Scarecrow, we get to the Scarecrow sections of this game. One thing I admire what they try to do with this game was give some of the villains that Batman can easily just bitch slap out of existence, give them something more unique to make them more of a threat. Obviously with Scarecrow, it's his fear toxin, so it'll make Batman trip out a little bit and have like a weird hallucination of him being targeted by Colossus Scarecrow. Also, going back to how Scarecrow looks, I really like how they just implement like the Arkham Asylum uniforms into like their outfits. Like Scarecrow's got the pants, I think he has sleeves too. Then other villains like Zsasz and Poison Ivy, they also utilize the uniform. So we get out of Scarecrow's little daydream and go find Gordon, who has been taken by Harley. And I know I played this game a lot. It's still a little easy to, fuck up a little bit.
Harley's under strict instructions to kill the old man if any of my guys even think you're in the room.
The bat's here! Kill Gordon!
Nothing personal, old man.
Do your worst.
For this one mess up did remind me, I really like these death scenes. The fact that you lose and the villain, whoever you're fighting at the moment, is just coming up and insulting you. So we sneak in, take down Harley, rescue Gordon, and find out there is another prisoner locked in this room. We open the door to find a sucked out Venom Bane. Bane has been Dr. Young's little patient X, all for her Project Titan. So it should be quickly determined that the Titan that we fought earlier is somehow infused with Venom. So Joker gives Bane a little juice and he tries to break my back. We fight with Bane pretty similarly to how we fight all the other Titans in this game. And then as Bane is about to break, we send him off for a little swim and tell Gordon, get back to the mainland. One, just to get him out of here. And two, I think Joker mentioned something about like bombs being planted around the city. And so Batman goes to his little bat cave on Arkham, which he just happens to have there, and does a little research on Dr. Young, who's beginning to be very sus right about now. Batman finds out that Project Titan is using Venom on inmates to turn them into Bane-like monsters, or Titans, as they're called. And the only thing missing is Dr. Young's formula, which he went to go get, so now we gotta go after her. But before we leave, we pick up the Batclaw, and I know it's a video game. I know you're supposed to get upgrades throughout the game. But how does Batman not carry this around with him? He's got the fucking belt. Are those pockets just empty? Does Batman have the belt? Hang on, I have to look it up. Did he even have the belt? Oh yeah, you're definitely wearing that belt. I see like 16 pockets on that belt. So I guess Batman decided to do a little spring cleaning on himself and just emptied everything out. Now it's all scattered around. Earlier before, he had to go find the explosive gel in the Batmobile. Alright, let's get back onto the story. We go find Dr. Young, but on the way, Oracle informs us that Dr. Young was being funded by a Jack White for her Project Titan. And Jack White is one of the aliases for the Joker, so Joker was secretly funding Dr. Young's research. And in case you didn't know, Oracle is our girl in the chair, Barbara Gordon, Commissioner Gordon's daughter. And if you know your Batman lore, you would assume that she already got Jokered in the back, meaning she got shot. I forget later on if they say she was Batgirl or not, but if you don't know, she was Batgirl for a little bit. She got shot in the back by Joker, became paralyzed, and ended up in a wheelchair. And then became Oracle. But that's one of the good things they do. They have these things established in the game that you either do know or you don't know. And if you're a true Batman nerd, you do know. And I was going to bring this up later, but I'll bring it up now. Where is Alfred? If you're listing off Batman most important characters, Alfred has got to be up there. He does not make an appearance once in this game, not except his character bio. I looked through it multiple times. I think he's even only mentioned once.
I can't believe you insisted on sitting through that movie again, Bruce. Come on, we'll be late for Alfred.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
Like, I get Oracle's the one guiding you through this, but Alfred, he has access to your comms. He should be able to, like, dual comm with her or just say, like, Bruce, are you okay? Like, what's going on over in Arkham? At no point does he check in to even see if Bruce is okay or if he needs any help. The same thing with Lucius Fox. There's only, like, one mention of him by Oracle. That's about it. Not even a character bio, I don't think.
The Wayne Tech security protocols seem to be hack-proof. Lucius did a good job.
Even on the radios, news gets out that Batman is trapped on Arkham and presumed dead. But Alfred is just home, sipping tea. I know this whole story takes place in like a few hours, but you'd think word would catch to Alfred. Although he's like 60 years old, maybe he's already sleeping by this time. So we get to the mansion where Dr. Young went to get her formula, but it's already being raided by Joker's goons. And Joker claims to have Dr. Young. So we gotta hurry. And they do throw a new wrench into the system here. The collars guards wears. It pretty much tells the other guards in the area Batman took this guy down, the collar's going off, be on alert. Or I guess it will tell Joker if somebody gets knocked down, because Joker will just announce, hey, Batman took one of you out. What the fuck you guys doing? So we find out Dr. Young was able to escape with the formula and hide it somewhere, so we track it down to this library, and then simply destroy the formula. This formula seems like the MacGuffin of the whole story, but no, it's just destroyed. I feel like if this was a badly written story, Batman would have just, like, you know, shoved into one of his thousands of pockets. But he's actually a smart character, this Batman. But there's only one person who knows the formula now, Dr. Young, and so Joker sends Zsasz to get it out of her. But we get a little high again, trip out, and then visit the alley where the parents got murdered. There's also only like 10 seconds where you play as this little Bruce, and I really do wonder if there's a mod where you can just play as this Bruce throughout the whole game. I don't know how well modded this game is. I didn't really look into it. You know, I probably should have looked into it, but there is mods for this game. Maybe I should have gotten a reshade or like better graphics. Oh, yep, there's a 60 FPS one. And there's a Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I'm sure Baby Bruce is on there somewhere, but I don't want to look for it. And yeah, these Scarecrow sections are basically the same. Just get to the end without getting caught, but this time there's skeletons thrown into the mix. Don't know why skeletons. I guess they're scary. I also totally died here just because I wanted to see Scarecrow's death scene.
See you, Batman. And at the end of fear, oblivion.
I also don't think I realized it during the recording, but looking back at the footage, you did see the fear toxin coming through a vent right before you went through that door. So it's kind of cool that, like, you can see when you're about to be tripping balls. And so we find Zsasz with Young, and we free her.
Now that was unexpected. Who'd have figured a deranged murderer would kill the poor little doctor?
Listen, mistakes happen. I think this is the first time I've ever screwed this up. But we hit him right this time, and then Dr. Young explains herself. As soon as she learned it was Joker funding her, she wanted to stop the whole thing, and Joker took that personally, and forced her to continue her work. She also mentions Joker has the formula now. It took me a little while to realize how he got it. I think the only way is Zsasz got the information out of her, but it's not really said anywhere. Just a little weird. So Dr. Young goes into this vault to get some key cards for the Botanical Gardens, which is where the plant that's producing this Titan is located. But Joker rigged the safe and kablamo. So now Dr. Young is dead, and the only person with the security clearance to get to the Botanical Gardens is the Warden, who is now taken by Harley. I wonder why Batman didn't lock up Harley when he took her out when he was saving Gordon. It seems like he had, you know, like a minute to just throw her in a cell. At the same time, I think Joker has access to all of Arkham, so he can just send a goon to go save her. And so we follow the Warden's little trail of blood as Harley makes him make some really funny demands and new rules.
As of 10 minutes ago, I have made it illegal to walk on the floor in any part of the asylum. Anyone caught doing so will be... Oh, this is stupid. Anyone caught will have their legs removed and perform magic tricks for Emperor Joker. There, I did it.
And so we get to another part of the prison, this time with I think a lot more of the dangerous inmates, these insane inmates, and probably one of Batman's most powerful villains, Poison Ivy. Yeah, the character design with her, they did it good. I'd risk it. And pretty soon after we find the Warden, well, also I just want to talk about this because I love this Easter egg so much. There is a cell in the same room, and you see a cop in there, Aaron Cash. The first time you see this, you're probably very confused, because there's also a warning sign right next to him about impersonating. You might be very confused, but then if you do an x-ray, you'll see he has no skeleton. But if you saw Riddler's little riddle, you'll find out this is Clayface. I'd say one of the coolest Batman villains that's never utilized, but they just threw him a little fun Easter egg for this game. Even after you go get the codes from Quincy, you come back down and Quincy's in the cell now. Clayface is just changing around, having fun. Then you turn away for a second, turn back, and now he's Gordon. And also somehow Harley brought Quincy in here, but she escapes the room and we never see her. We literally go in, there's only one way out, and we see a cutscene of her going out and freeing Poison Ivy. And at the same time, Joker releases all these other freaks who are just crazy. There's also this other guy in the same room Clayface is in. I had to look it up because I didn't know who the hell this was. I was like, is this like a villain? Is this like a Two-Face or something? No, it's just some dude who won a contest back when the game was coming out, and he got put into the game. So now we chase after Harley yet again. We pass by a cell for one of the most popular Batman villains, Calendar Man, who has the most insane drip I've ever seen in the character bios. And that man is also one of the most... Poor bands suck. And he also has one of the most bullshit ever achievements in a video game. We'll get to that in the next game. So we get to Harley, beat her down, take something out of her chest. And I had to take a pause to look at this list just because it passed by so quickly. I guess the list of names that are crossed off are people that aren't on the island, which is why they aren't here. Then there's also the name of the guy who was in that room with Clayface, Luke Oliver. Then there's also Waylon and Basil, or Brock and Clayface. And so Harley gets thrown into a cell next to Mr. Freeze's cell, who I guess would still be in there since it's literally frozen. And so we get to the garden to go find the plant that's producing toxin, track Harley's prints to find a secret room, and we find Joker yet again, this time with barrels of Titan and a new little gun. 2 simple shots and he turns 2 of his thugs into massive Titans. And then we fight the Titans, same as we always do, just throw a batarang at them, jump out of the way, but this time we can actually utilize them to take out the other Titan. That's kind of fun. And they can also charge into the containers filled with Titan, which will just destroy them. If they don't get destroyed during the fight, I think you would have to explode them yourself. I could be remembering that wrong, but I think that's how it works. And so Batman decides to go find Poison Ivy because he thinks she can help make an antidote since Titan is plant-based. But to get out of this room, we need a new gadget, so the Batwing sends it off, and my god, this thing is so fucking loud. So we find Ivy playing with her little tentacles, and she tells us there's plants in Killer Croc's lair that can help. And right after we leave, Joker announces he gave Ivy just a little bit of Titan, and instead of it turning her into a Titan monster, it just makes her plants go absolutely crazy. She just starts spewing her flower all over the island. And there's now plants that shoot balls at you. So we go find Aaron Cash, who has some information on Croc, because those two have a really close relationship if you don't know how he's missing his hand. I do like also how Cash is another smart cookie in this game.
Now, what's the deal with the plants?
It's complicated.
Let me guess. Poison Ivy. She teamed up with Joker.
Bruh. He tells us about a new way into the lair, and we head off there. And there's another new gimmick thrown into this whole game, explosive gargoyles.
Let's test them out.
No! No, I'm still up!
Gotta love that Joker. Not only do these get rid of their way around the room, they also just alert all the guards, which is so fun. So we move more into the building and okay, be real. First time you played this, who thought you broke the game? Little old me was terrified that I broke my game and would have to buy a new one. But I just love this fake out so much. Not only does it trick Batman, it tricks you, the player, as well. You think you're back at the beginning of the game, only to realize bit by bit that it's just the roles are reversed. Joker is taking Batman to the asylum. All the guards are being treated like inmates, and inmates are running the place. Scarecrow tries to give you a little examination, and then Joker decides to shoot you right in the head.
Time for this, bats. Let's start the party with a bang.
And then you get another game over screen, and the hint it gives you is to use the middle stick to escape. And I'm looking down at my controller thinking, where the hell's the middle stick? But it's just another fake out, and you wake up in a grave, back in the Scarecrow dream world. We get through the little section, but then Scarecrow drugs us even more, and now we're just in a mosh pit with skeletons. We break out yet again, and kind of scare Scarecrow a little bit, because we have taken on so much drugs and are just fine. And then he runs off threatening to go like poison the water supply or something. And now look, I'm no doctor. I don't know anything about drugs, I don't take them. Unless Batman has just been dealing with this guy for so long, unless he's just built up a resistance to all of his fear toxin drugs, I don't know how he didn't overdose. Batman probably took enough to take on like 10 men of his fear toxin. Yeah, he's totally fine. You would think on the inside his heart is pumping just like... But no, he's just stoic. It'd be like that one story of Willie Nelson out smoking Snoop Dogg. So we chase Crane down to the sewers and Killer Croc decides to save the day. I don't know if he was just hungry or if he knew what he was doing, but thank God he was there. So we get to Croc's lair and have to kind of sneak through it because Killer Croc can just come up and eat you if you're too loud on these platforms. And I thought I was going to be a little smart and use the line launcher to just skip sections, but yeah, it didn't really work out. So instead I walked slowly, found the flowers to make the antidote. Croc can still pop up randomly, he'll charge at you, just throw a simple battering at him, and he'll go down like a bitch. And then once we get all the samples, we head back to the beginning where we set a little trap for Croc, and we set it off. I said we set it off, and we take Croc down. He just plummets down to the depths. So back to the Batcave, make the antidote, but before it's fully finished, Ivy's plants just burst in like they own the place, and it just minimizes how much of the antidote we actually get. And time for another upgrade. Batman just simply puts 3 bat claws together, and he can now pull down literal walls. This man is a monster. Now, some things I get, like the explosive Joe with the line launcher, Batman needed it in those situations, so he called for it or went to go get it. But with this triple bat claw, it seems like he just kind of went like, oh, this'll work. Cool. Kind of like he just left it on the table, forgot about it. Then he's like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Let me just put that together real quick. Boom. Awesome. And I guess I can bring this up now, just like a little gripe I've had with this game. A lot of the gadgets or tactics or skills you would have to unlock don't seem mandatory. Stuff like the remote controlled batarang or even the inverted takedown, which is like a staple in these games, aren't required for anything. You can just unlock them and you don't even have to. It's really the inverted takedown one that just pissed me off because that seems like something Batman should just do or know how to do. Or that's something that's unlocked in your first stealth section of this game. But as we go back up to the surface from Croc's lair, we see Joker is now trying to pollute the water with Titan this time. But we quickly shut that off after a few failed attempts of stealth. Get back up to the surface to go stop Ivy. And I've said it before, but Ivy just has to be Batman's most dangerous villain. Most other villains are just like crazy, insane people, or they have some kind of power that's like, just makes them stronger, or a bit more dangerous than the average person. I feel like Ivy's the only one who could literally end the world if she wanted to. Having control of plants is really crazy to think about. And Ivy also used her charm on some guards, and now they're fighting us. But they weren't in the game that long. It's only like a few minutes. I'm not trying to think too far ahead into the franchise, but it is a little bland that we only see Joker goons fighting us. Well, I mean, it makes sense for the story, and they even explain it with Blackgate. But Ivy doesn't want to go back in her cell, so she gets into this Demogorgon flytrap thing and shoots some balls at us. And this boss fight, it's way too easy. Those balls are really hard to dodge. After some batterings and explosive gel, we defeat Ivy and she falls down in her hole. Actually, something I kind of realized, Batman doesn't take too much time making sure these villains are locked up. I know this only takes place like in a few hours time. Maybe there's like another hour to this story in real time. But Killer Croc fell down a hole. Poison Ivy fell down a hole. They're most likely unconscious down there. How long until they wake up? Bane got run over by a car, and then Scarecrow got crocked. Really, the only person Batman took time to lock up was Harley. But boy, the guards are gonna have to scramble to get all these prisoners back in their cells. Which they kind of do show at the end with them getting Poison Ivy back in her cell. But now it's time for the finale. Joker's party for the Batman is finally ready, and he invites him to come celebrate with him. But there is just one thing I wanted to do first. All of the areas are accessible. I have all the gadgets I need. I decided to go forth and collect all the collectibles. Now obviously I've been picking stuff up as I was going along, but obviously there's stuff locked behind certain areas that you can't get to yet, or you need a certain gadget that's later in the game. It is nice that they do have maps that kind of show you where things are, and I had about 100 things to go and collect, and it took me literally over 2 hours. It's not even that it's hard, it's just so much. I think in total there was 240 items, but I do like that some of the collectibles had stories to them, like the interview tapes giving you more of an insight on the villains, or even seeing things of like how Harley Quinn got seduced by the Joker, or Poison Ivy seducing guards, or even Victor Sass wanting to kill the person interviewing him, and then his last one he's going to go get her. And even the Chronicles of Arkham. Those are really fun to listen to. You get a little insight on like the story behind Arkham and Armadeus Arkham. But the Riddler trophies, they gave you nothing. The only thing they unlock is just, the Riddler getting caught at the end.
What? You did it? You must have cheated. There is no way you could have beaten me. Well, you asked for it, Batman. My final challenge for the whole of Gotham is just seconds away. What? Sirens. The police. You cheated, Batman. You couldn't have outsmarted me. Police, open up! No. Open the door, now! No! Down on the ground! Down on the ground! No! Tell me, how did you work out where I was? Do you hear me? I, Edward Nigma,
And I also want to point out, fuck this one clue. There's little riddles along the way of like, oh, don't go mad as this Hatter. And then you find like a little tea set like Alice in Wonderland. But then there's some to where you have to find a question mark and then line it up right. And it took me so long to find this one, and I didn't want to look up a guide. But every time I play this game, I always forget about it. So with literally everything else done, go off to our party, mingle with the guests, and then go meet the Joker again, who has a special guest, Commissioner Gordon. Captured yet again. I think that's 3-0 this game. So Joker attempts to shoot Jim with the Titan, but Batman takes it, and he just resists turning. It's a little strange you can just resist it. I don't know if they're trying to say Batman is just that strong that he can resist Titan flowing through his blood. But Joker pulls out the big guns to try and get him to change.
That's to you, your call. Pickle, pickle. No!
Maybe it's not so ridiculous he can resist Titan when he had like 50 injections from Scarecrow's fear toxin. He just has a unique control over his body. So Joker gets a little upset. Batman ruined everything. And he decides to cap himself. And I like how this game has been going flawlessly this whole time. But here's where it bugs out and just skips his cutscene and I can't fight the Joker.
Let's get ready to tango!
So I just restarted a checkpoint, everything went back on track. And with only one little antidote, Batman uses it on himself, and now has to fight a Titan-infused Joker. And oh boy, what a fight this is. Remember before when I was saying it was cool how they gave Scarecrow something different than just fighting Batman? Would have been cool for Joker, but no, let's just make him the absolute Joker from the new Batman series. I wonder if that inspired that Joker, because this was first. With all the other Titan fights, you just throw a batarang when they charge you like a mindless brute, but this time somehow Joker is more Joker than Titan. He's able to talk to you and think clearly and even float. Anytime he jumps up and like just shows off to the camera, you just backclaw his back and pull him back down and beat his ass. You know, it's fine if he does that one time, but he does it 3 times. Maybe this Joker ain't as smart as he thought he was. But Joker should not be on the same spectrum as Killer Croc or Bane. He should be the Joker. Somebody could probably fight Batman, not win, but he should have like an ace up his sleeve or something that can trick Batman. You know, maybe they should have had Clayface fight him. He's still locked in his cell. Wasn't he invited to the party? He'll get his chance next game. But if you don't know what I talked about with the Absolute Joker, there's like a new Batman series going on just called like Absolute Batman. And that Joker looks absolutely terrifying. I didn't read it, I just saw like the image of him. And I'm sure a lot of people compared that to this. And I think a lot of people like that Joker, but don't like this Joker. And I think I know why. Obviously, the Absolute series, it's a new series. Changing stuff, change is welcome when you're trying to do something new. You want to make Joker a monstrous villain? Go for it. It's new. But this series was rooted in just basic Batman lore. You had the monster villains like Croc and Clayface and Bane. Then you had simpler villains like Scarecrow and Victor's Ass. Joker, he was still the basic Joker villain. And instead of having a more simpler duel between them, they decided to turn Joker into the Abomination. But Batman defeats this crazy Joker with a simple super punch, and game over. The guards are taking back control, locking up all the villains. All the Titans eventually turn back to the people they were. Which doesn't make too sense, because their like bones are literally snapping through their skin. Like Joker has like 50 bones penetrating his body when he's in Titan form. So would he not just shrink back with like a bunch of holes in his body? Or like open wounds and scars? I think the Joker would have more holes in his body than in this idea. And so it seems like that's the end of Batman's story, but he just flies off to go deal with another problem in the city. And after the credits, there's a little scene of a crate of Titan floating in the water. At first I thought it was something you had to do to determine who would grab it. Killer Croc, Bane, or Scarecrow would reach over the water and grab it. For me, it was Killer Croc. But that's just hinting towards the next game, I think. And so that's everything in the game. Except for one thing. The combat and the stealth challenges. As you were collecting collectibles throughout this game, you would unlock new challenges to do. Combat ones are super easy. Just fight people, get a high score, and then you get 3 stars, or 3 bats, I guess. The stealth ones were a bit more fun. It gave you interesting ways on how to take down enemies or how to go through the stealth section. Stuff like doing inverted takedowns, or taking down multiple henchmen with explosive gels, or knocking down a few people with 1 batarang, or pulling down 3 enemies over the railing. And then there's the same maps again, but more extreme. Get a higher combo or do something more difficult in the stealth. And there's a few more sections which I think are DLCs, to where it's just 1 more map for stealth and 1 more combat section. And then there's 2 other combats you can do that are just infinite fights. With one of them, the inmates just keep on coming. There's no ending to this, so I just want to get a high score of like 100,000 or something. Which is really hard to get when all these jumping freaks just jump on you and break your combo. And then there's another one with infinite skeletons. Kind of like a round-based combat. That one's not really as fun because you get hit once, you lose. And I somehow did worse and worse each time, so I just stopped there. But now, boom, fully 100% complete. Now let's talk about this game as a whole. I love it. The story is so good and strong, except for the final boss fight. I love that it's just a pre-established world with an experienced Batman and a whole roster of villains who can just appear out of nowhere. All these villains agree to help Joker take on the Batman during this plan, so they weren't all like weirdly inserted into this just mega story. Except for the Riddler. I don't know if Joker really invited him to the cool kids table. He might just been doing his own thing. And even doing the Riddler challenges, you get so many villain Easter eggs that I didn't even know were villains. People like the Great White Shark or Prometheus, Humpty Dumpty, Maxie Zeus. Or this guy Killer Moth, who apparently appeared back in 1951. And the combat of this game is revolutionary. It's the pioneer of this free flow style combat. It never slows down and it only gets stronger the longer you go. Really, I think the only other best example of something that was inspired by this is Insomniac's Spider-Man, which does a great job there too. It's also just very audio satisfying just to hear people getting crunched and bone snapped as Batman is just beating them to a pulp. Now, I don't want to think too far ahead into the future, but it is a lot more fun using like gadgets mid-fight. Here you can't really do it except for batarangs and maybe the backlaw, but it kind of slows the whole thing down as a whole. Even the stealth in this game is amazing. Enemies aren't brain dead, and if they see you, they see you. There isn't like a cone that cuts off at like 20 feet. If you're across the map and they like you poking your head out, they'll attack you. And it's a little hard to escape from them in this game. Speaking of escaping, I just realized there's those smoke bombs. Why did they not put smoke bombs in this game? Was it just like they couldn't? Didn't think of it? Even Keaton had smoke bombs, so it's kind of like an essential Batman item, right? Kind of weird they didn't do that in this game. But all the other bat gadgets are fun. Batarangs, the bat claws, the bat gel, the bat scanner, bat rope, bat fist, all the bats. And I really did try in this game to see if I could kill anybody as Batman. I know it's his #1 rule. I just had to try. I really thought I would have killed this guy if in the poison room, but I guess he's just powers through it. These guys I thought for certain were dead, and I heard the water splash, so clearly there's water down there making sure they're okay. But who knows, they could have broken their backs and drowned in the water. But even these clips of like people landing on their heads, they have to be dead. I'm sorry. No excuse. Even all the other gameplay that isn't combat based is so good. The X-ray mode, perfection. I guarantee you most people used the X-ray mode for like a third of the entire game. Just seeing skeletons, even using it to see little things around corners, or even like look inside this box or behind doors. And he even uses it as a detective. He can trace alcohol vapors or bloodstains or fingerprints, so it actually has multiple uses. But easily what I love most about this game is just the environmental storytelling. They went bonkers on it all. The entire graphic design of like this gothic looking asylum with these deranged lunatics, seeing so many empty cells where it's like, oh, that's where Harvey Dent was, or oh, that's where Riddler was. Or even seeing things that would eventually come to be like Thomas Elliot's name written on the surgeon wall. And I love their stylist choice for the entire game. It's like a bit realistic, but a bit cartoony at the same time. Where Batman is just this literal tank of a human being. He is huge. Then you have like a scrawny Joker with like an elongated face. And then you have like monsters like Bane and Killer Croc. And then all the girl villains are hot. Good job there. And yeah, all the collectibles too are fun. All the interview tapes. For some reason there's so many Joker teeth just scattered around the map. And then the Chronicles of Arkham. Learning about Armadeus' Arkham descent into madness as he started to kill his patients. And then he eventually became a patient himself. And at the end you realize it's not Armadeus Arkham, it's actually Quincy Sharp, who believes he is the spirit of Armadeus Arkham.
My name is Quincy Sharp, the spirit of Amadeus Arkham.
On the surface, it is a little weird that Quincy just went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and is now insane. I did have to look it up. I think it might be explained in the next game, so I'm not going to really talk about it here. It's just a little weird thing about it here. And they went all-star with the cast. Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, the best animated Batman and Joker voices. They do so well together. It's such a shame we'll never see them together again. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. I also did think Harley sounded a bit weird in this game, only to look up that it wasn't Tara Strong. I think she comes in the next game and it was actually a different voice actress this time. I just thought it was Tara since the beginning. And I also decided just to look up some fun things that I discovered about this game. So in order to stop piracy and to stop people from illegally playing their game, you wouldn't be able to use Batman's cape throughout the entire game. The gliding just wouldn't work. So you couldn't get past certain areas of the game, so you couldn't play the game. I thought that was funny. And if you like this franchise, I'm sure you've heard about the Easter egg that nobody was able to find. There's an Easter egg in, I think, Quincy Sharp's office that has like plans for Arkham City. And I think nobody found it in so long that Rocksteady just said, hey guys, did you ever see this Easter egg yet? Who knows, they could have added it months later and we would never know. So while I'm praising this game so much, it does have a couple drawbacks for me. Firstly, This game came out nearly 15 years ago. It had a remaster 10 years ago, and it still plays at 30 FPS. How have they not updated it at all, even on the PC? For like the 10-year anniversary, like 5 years ago, 60 FPS was not a strange thing. Modders are unlocking it. They could have easily probably done a couple of tweaks in the coding and made it 60 FPS. They could have given us a little treat for the Arkham collection. Something. And I said it before, the combat feels a little slow if you're trying to use gadgets. It's just a lot more fun doing the whole free flow with gadgets mixed in. But that's future insight, so I won't really hold that against this game. And some other future insight are costumes. Throughout the whole game, you're just stuck to the one basic bat suit. In the challenges, there is the armored bat suit, and clearly there's mods to get more outfits that I just realized. But it's just a shame they didn't add any extra outfits in the game, even after doing so many in the other Arkham games. And I just feel like there was a lot of characters missing from this. Obviously some villains like Catwoman, Two-Face, the Penguin, you don't have to use them. They are really big villains. I guess they want to just save them for the next game. But people like Alfred, how is he not brought up at all? The only mention of him is in a flashback. And even Robin, there's no mention of Robin. You're an experienced and seasoned Batman, you have to have a Robin. And if you know future insight at this story, there have been multiple Robins. I don't know if they thought that far ahead at this time of like where they were Robin-wise. I don't think there's a single mention of Robin. And again, the last boss fight could have been literally anything else. It sucks the game ended on a dud when it was such a banger all the way through. Okay, I've been recording for over an hour. This was a lot longer than I thought it'd be, so let's just rank this shit. I'm trying to think where I should do the ranking. Because while this side is clear, this is where I usually do it. Let's take a step over here. So it's no surprise, this game is going very high, but not too high. Because of all the drawbacks, it's not going to S, it's going into A tier. And while I was thinking about it earlier, I did have to actually think a little bit if it was going below or below. I was going to say below or below. I did have to think if it was going above or below Silent Hill 2. Really the drawbacks I had for Silent Hill 2 were the replayability and the combat wasn't that great. But for Batman it's just small little nitpicky things mostly, and then the last boss fight. So yeah, Batman's going to number 1, clearly. And this is actually how I thought it would go. I'm surprised I had to think a little bit, actually putting a little thought into this. So yeah, Batman Arkham Asylum, number 1. And yeah, at the beginning I said I love this franchise, so clearly most of these games are going to go high. And even though I already said I want to just do the whole franchise one by one, I am not doing Batman in the next video. It's going to be something a little different. You'll see why then. But I'll see you in that video. We'll continue Batman after it. See you, everybody.